Hi there, in this video we are taking a quick sneak peek at the new Viltrox DC-X3. Now, a few things to keep in mind here. This here is a pre-production unit as this monitor is not yet available on the market. So I won't be going too deep into any details, as there still might be some last minute changes to the production version of this monitor. That and the fact that I'm not quite sure just how much information I'm actually allowed to share with you at this point. That said, I think you will have a pretty good understanding, or at least some decent clues on what to expect from this new X3 monitor. I took the X3 out over the weekend to shoot some video with my Blazar anamorphic lenses. I think it's a great way to kind of test a monitor as you become very dependent on your monitor when you're shooting anamorphic. There is another reason for doing this type of testing early on, which I will be covering in my more in-depth video on the X3 once this gets available on the market. Now, the screen on the X3 is slightly bigger than the one we have on the DC-550 series, which obviously makes it easier to pull focus as you're able to see more things in detail on your screen. One of the things that I was really happy to see Viltrox actually moved over from the DC-550 series to the new X3 is the spring-loaded kind of pop-up sun hood. I think it's just genius. It's by far one of my favorite features with the DC-550 series, as you can pretty much leave the sun hood on your monitor at all time and just flip it open when you need it and fold it back together during transport or when you're moving things around on set, and it will obviously protect the screen of your monitor at all times. So I'm glad we got to see the same type of sun hood. Well, actually, I think they might have done a slight improvement here, as there's now a little locking or push button here to keep it locked down at all times. If we look at this shot here, it's kind of hard not to notice the two SDI ports on the back of the monitor. The SDI ports obviously makes the X3 a more versatile and more compatible camera monitor when it comes to things like live switches, transmitters, and obviously cameras with SDI ports. And if we look at the same shot here again and we look at the HDMI cables, for those of you familiar with the DC-550s, you will also notice that Viltrox moved the HDMI ports to the side of the monitor instead of here at the bottom right next to the mounting point. And I think this is kind of a great example of how Viltrox is listening to the consumers or the users, trying to improve the products as they go. Same thing with HDMI cables that shipped with the DC-550s. In the beginning, I believe it was a micro and a mini HDMI cables, but a lot of reviewers and a lot of users were actually asking for full-size HDMI cables instead. So they switched it out pretty early to mini and a full-size HDMI cable, which, you know, I like. You're basically getting a turnkey on-camera monitor. You get the cables, you get the mount, you get the monitor, and there's also an included little battery with both the DC-550 and the new X3. But I don't think the X3 is meant to replace the DC-550 series. The 550s is still one of the best price-to-performance on-camera monitors on the market today. Sure, we're getting a slightly bigger screen and more brightness and a few other things here on the X3, which I think caters to more advanced or more demanding users, but we will cover that hopefully in a comparison video between the DC-550 and the X3 once the official version of the X3 is available, obviously. Let me just check my notes here. I'll add some links to the DC-550s down below in the description, and as soon as they're available, there will be links for the X3 as well, in case you want to compare and check the pricing and that kind of stuff. If you want to know more about the DC-X3, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, as I'm currently working on a more in-depth or more detailed review video of the DC-X3 as we speak. And also let me know if you're interested in seeing a comparison video between the X3 and the DC-550, obviously. Let me know in the comment section. That usually works. But I think that's pretty much it. I've not forgotten anything. So yeah, hope you found this little sneak peek video interesting, and I hope to see you here again for the full in-depth review of the X3. But until then, ciao. Oh, and by the way, I will put the review video to the DC-550 up here, and when the DC-X3 video is available, that will be down here. So yeah, see you.